from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Appreciate your patience this morning on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT and on WakeUpCallDT.com worldwide. So however you're tuning into the show, thank you so much for being here with us, where sports meets that thing called life. I hope you're having yourselves a wonderful week. If you're not, we're going to make it better. If you are, we're going to make it better. That's what we do here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So happy to be here with you. Happy to be hanging out with you on a Friday. And very much looking forward to having some fun on today's broadcast of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So once again, however you're tuning in, thank you so much for being a part of the show. We got a lot of great stuff set up for you. Those of you that know the show know how it goes on a Friday. So we bring you inside of Ma and Pa's Popcorn.com. You can go to Ma and Pa's Popcorn.com anywhere you are, and you can have their awesome kettle corn and popcorn delivered right to your doorstep. And you can also go to 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York, to their brick and mortar store. And that store has something awesome. If you go in there and you get any size tin, any size of their tins, you can get half price refills for the rest of your life if you buy one of the tins inside of Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. You can get a tin, half price refills for the rest of your life. You can fill the tin when you go back in. Every time you go back in, you can fill it with something else, and you can get multiple flavors. So I have a tin where I can get up to 3 different flavors. So a lot of good stuff. Always excited to go in and have some Ma and Pa's in my life. And you got to try their new signature line that they have of their premium kettle corn. So many different flavors. I'm a big fan of the Elvis, as I've talked about on the show before. It is banana flavored kettle corn with Reese's peanut butter drizzled all over it. If it sounds that good, it's even better than what you think. So make sure you go out and try some of that today. It is fantastic. Let them know that Wake Up Call sent you over to Ma and Pa's on 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. So with that being said, inside of Ma and Pa's Popcorn.com is what's poppin'. The first thing that we do every single Friday, the annoying moment of the week. The annoying moment of the week is going to be coming to you in just a moment, proudly presented by the wonderful team at Carvel DeWitt. And we'll be at Carvel DeWitt in just a few days on Wednesday, May 24th at 5 p.m. I will be officially unveiling the DT Dolphin. It'll be on sale for the first time ever, and you're going to be able to get it on site, on location, exclusively at Carvel DeWitt. It is my new Sunday, and it's connected to my partnership with not only Carvel DeWitt, but my partnership with the wonderful, wonderful Lemoyne College. So very excited to be able to showcase that with you and share that with you here today. And on Wednesday, when we officially unveil it on site, on location, at Carvel DeWitt. So can't wait to do that with you. So we're going to do the annoying moment of the week, and then we'll jump into lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver is the acronym. Lead coming to you on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single Friday right around 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and we have the opportunity to speak with you from Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay in our wonderful partnership with Jim Sikowski and his team. We'll be talking today about what inspires you. So would love to know what inspires you, and we'll be discussing that on the broadcast this morning. And then we'll get into the top dog of the week. Top dog of the week, proudly presented by the wonderful people at Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding. Our top dog of the week this week is Justin Stern. We'll be honoring Justin here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. He has been the head coach at Cazenovia College for the men's basketball team. And with Cazenovia College closing in a shocking and sad turn of events, with them closing, obviously he will move forward into the next chapter of his life. And I'm so proud of him and so happy for him and excited for what's going to be coming up next. So we honor him today as our top dog of the week. And we'll be discussing with Justin just going through this process and what it's been like from the inside out, as he's been obviously on site, on campus at Cazenovia College. So we'll talk with him about the experience, the unique experience of a school, and hopefully nobody else has to experience this, a unique experience of a school closing, a college or university, or high school or elementary school for that matter. So we'll talk with him about his journey as a coach and as a person about the school closing and how he has handled that from the inside out. And we'll get to know more about him and as he moves forward and progresses forward and what he's looking to do and just how he sees everything. So I'm very excited to have the opportunity to speak with Justin, to honor him today, and to find the positive in a trying time. So we're going to honor Justin Stern, honor his time. You know, I do everything in my power, I try to do everything in my power because God does this for me, to make sure that the good people are noticed, that they're appreciated, that they're loved, and that they're celebrated. So it's my honor and my privilege to celebrate Justin here this morning, and we're going to do that with him being the top dog of the week at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. He'll join me for a live video conversation. So very much looking forward to that. With all that being said, let's hop right into the annoying moment of the week.
Dan Tortora proudly brings you...
Is that for real? Are you kidding me?
The annoying moment of the week.
I really, honestly, I don't know how to respond to this.
Presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It's what happy tastes like.
Do you have to be that crazy? I guess so.
The annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by the wonderful team at Carvel DeWitt, coming to you today. My first annoying moment of the week has to be something that I've been dealing with every single day. And that is when you go to the store for your phone, right? And so I have an Apple phone, right? So they tell you all the time that you got to use Apple products, and if you don't use Apple products, it's going to kill your battery, which I think is ridiculous. It's almost like, you know, there's something about Apple that doesn't sit right? And it shouldn't with us. And I'm not here to knock them. I'm just here to have a discussion. And the discussion that I'm here to have is, why do their batteries die so easily? They create these phones and they upgrade and upgrade and upgrade and upgrade and upgrade, and the camera gets better and this gets better and this feature gets better and this looks cooler and the graphics are better, but then your phone overheats and you feel it in the back through your case and things don't seem to work right on it. So why is that? And so when I went to the Verizon store and I said I need a charger for my car, and they gave me a gray one, and I was like, no, because I got to have the white one that's got like all this, the true Apple one. I got to have the Apple one because when you've gone to other stores and you buy, like at Five Below, you could buy those chargers whenever it charged them, and they said it would kill your battery faster. So, and I can't prove that that's wrong. So I was like, okay, give me the official, we're here at Verizon, you sell iPhones, give me the official. And he said, this is the official one, and it was gray. And it didn't have like the same emblem and stuff on it. And I was like, I don't really think that. He's like, no, this is the one that Apple says to use, whatever. So it's worked fine, and I've had it for over a year. But now when I plug it in, I plug it into a rental car, plug it into my car. I plug it into my phone. My phone will look like it's charging, but then the Apple CarPlay won't work if it gets touched. Like if my phone is sitting there and I'm in the car and I turn it like this to like switch the song, it stops reading the Apple CarPlay. And then it starts overheating like crazy. So I'm thinking that this cord that was gray and not white, because it seems like the only Apple ones are the ones that look like Apple and the white cord, whatever. So they sold me this thing telling me, oh, that's the official Apple one. But now it's heating up my phone. My battery life has gone down. So like when it shows you your battery's at 100%, now my battery's at 84%. So my battery life's gone down, my phone gets hot, and my Apple CarPlay and there's no cut or anything that I know of in the wire. And if the wire gets jiggled just a little bit, it'll shut off the Apple CarPlay and say that it can't read it. So it's not reading my phone. It's heating up my phone, and arguably it's killing the battery life of my phone. But they said that this was the official charger. So either somebody lied to me, or these things only work for a year, or whatever. And that's the other thing, right? Why do they make stuff? Well, I know why they make it, so they can get more money. But, they make things, this kind of goes into a bigger annoying moment of the week. the stuff that they make today, it dies so fast, right? I have a Walkman. I've showed it to you because I used it in my Star-Lord costume that I created, wearing this shirt, ironically, since I'm talking about this today. And when I was wearing that, and I dressed up for Halloween and was out with my niece and my nephew. My nephew's also my godson. So I was out there trick-or-treating with Noah and Ari, and we're walking around with the family. We're having a good time. And my Walkman, not only does my Walkman work and it's in pristine condition, but the batteries in it are from like 100 years ago. And they work. You know, batteries nowadays, some of them are good, but, and I got to give credit to some of the AAA batteries I have. I can't knock that because they've been really good with my recorder that I bring on site. But there's things that are made today that die tomorrow. And so I'm sitting here saying to myself, why did my cord all of a sudden get so touchy that if you touch it or move it just a little bit, it's going to shut off my Apple CarPlay? And why is it heating up my phone? And now my phone's getting heated like every single day. My phone shouldn't be getting heated like that. Well, Dan, you have a lot of pictures. Well, Dan, you make phone. I had one time I went into Verizon and I said to them, my battery keeps dying fast. And he said, what are you doing? I said, well, you know, I make phone calls. And I probably have a couple calls a day that are like an hour or so. And he goes, well, that's your problem. You're using it to make... He's like, that's your problem. You're making phone calls. I said, wait a minute. My battery is dying on this phone that does 972 different things. It's dying faster because I make phone calls. So the problem of me killing my battery is me using a phone for its sole purpose that it used to have when phones were created. Not the picture taking, not the being on the apps and checking the weather and using it as a GPS, but the thing that's killing my battery is the fact that I'm using a phone for its purpose, which is to make a phone call. And there's probably people out there that have cell phones that have never made a phone call with them. They just text, right? Which is sad and gross and ridiculous and leads to another part of society that I don't like. But because we need to interact with people. You wonder why. There's so many reasons why society has gone down, and it starts with taking God out of things, in my opinion, and it also includes this, like, when you don't talk to people and you don't interact with people, and literally your interaction with people is this. It's fake because you are talking to people, but you're talking to people this way. You're not talking to them face to face. You're not talking to them with your voice. That creates a detachment. You know, this like non-reality, and that's why I think people struggle to, you know, when you're like, why don't people care about people? Well, they're so detached. It's so informal. It's not connected, right? We need to be in front of each other when we can be. I know sometimes, you know, you can't be in front of somebody, so you call them or you text them, but there has to be human interaction. There has to be. Or else the world starts to get really cold. Hence now. And that's the sad part. So my annoying moment of the week really put it all together. It goes from my cord not working to things these days being made to die, so you have to keep buying more and more of them, to society being detached, which is a perfect parallel to my Apple CarPlay detaching all the time the cord gets moved. So you see what I did there? So with that, but so that's so that's an annoying moment of the week, I would have to say. And you know, it's funny because there's things that happen during your week that make you kind of stop, right? And I would say my other annoying moment of the week is it's how people treat people now. Right? It's and not everybody, but it's how people treat people, right? You know, I'm always going to be nice, right? Because when I want to be, now that doesn't mean I haven't had moments where I was mean, or I haven't had moments where I was short, or I haven't had moments where I was frustrated. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm saying I always try to be nice. And there's people that just, you know, they just like mean, or they ignore you. And so it's, you know, for me, it's hard to want to like be the bigger person, but I always end up being the bigger person. And I'd rather be the bigger person than, you know, become a jerk. But you look at some of these people and they're just ridiculous. You know, You congratulate somebody on something good that happened in their life and they don't respond, and you scroll up and you look at the text messages and you congratulated them on that, nothing. You congratulated them on that, nothing. You try to reach out to them, nothing. You congratulated them again, nothing. And then this person had told you a few months ago, like, hey, if I don't answer, keep calling, keep texting, like, stay on me. I'm sorry, I don't mean to not answer. But it takes nothing to answer. It takes nothing to check your phone and to say, you know what, hey, thank you. And for someone to say they're too busy to be grateful, they're too busy to be thankful for a kind message. We get mean messages. We're on social media. Many of us have gotten mean messages before, nasty messages, rude messages. You don't have enough time to answer someone who supports you, someone who loves you, someone who wants you to do well, someone who wants you to succeed, someone who appreciates you. You don't have the time to say thank you. I never thought I would grow up in a world that didn't have time to be thankful, didn't have time to be appreciative. And see, the thing is, I will reach out and reach out and reach out, and I will do everything I can. And then I'll take some time, and then I'll try to reach out again. But here's the reality of it all. I'm not a bad person if I stop reaching out, because there's a difference between being kind and being a doormat. There's a difference between reaching out and trying to build a bridge that was never broken and being disrespected. And I will not be disrespected if I can help it. And, you know, I think that that's one of the things that it's not fun. It's not enjoyable to do something like that. And I probably could have said another annoying moment of the week would have been something that somebody said to me earlier in the week that was probably one of the most uneducated, ignorant people that I've ever met in my life. And the sad thing is that person hasn't grown in a decade. But they're not even worth me talking about, so I'm not going to mention it. Now, I mean, I guess I mentioned it in a way, but I'm not going to get into it, because ignorance is bliss, but ignorance is also ignorance. And when you're ignorant and you don't know anything about a subject, and then you try to speak on it, and then you try to judge that subject, it's just really sad that some people just have too big of an ego to even see through it to olive branches or help or assistance. And, you know, what I've learned in life is anybody that tries to make another person feel small is the person that within themselves feels the smallest. Because only a small person would seek to make you small so that they look bigger. Think about that. Only a small person would seek to make others small so that they can feel like they're bigger. Let the small people stay small. And don't let anybody take your drive, your determination, your thunder. Because that was a situation where I extended an olive branch after being disrespected a decade ago. And my mom said, why did you even extend it? And I was like, I don't know, Ma. I don't know. I thought I could help. I thought I could build in the community. I thought, you know, we could do something good, right? I'm always trying to do something good. And she said, I don't know why you would go back for more punishment. And it's true. And that's the sad part, is that some people don't grow. And some people do grow. And when you, in order to grow, you have to be blatantly honest with yourself. And in order to be blatantly honest with yourself, you have to be open to hearing things you don't want to hear. And to be open to hear things you don't want to hear means that you're putting yourself in a position for constructive criticism where you can grow. And nobody knows you better than you. So when you constructively criticize yourself, I'm not saying be mean to yourself, but when you constructively criticize yourself, you stand to gain something. You stand to learn. You know, I told God I was going to wake up every morning. First thing I was going to do is say, thank you for waking me up this morning. Well, I woke up this morning and this morning and this morning and this morning and this morning where I looked at my phone before I said, thank you, God. I'm sorry for that. I didn't mean that. I will grow from that. I'll stop doing that, right? We're supposed to grow. We're supposed to learn. We're supposed to evolve. We're supposed to get better. That's why we're here. We're not here to stand still. You know, and there's a prayer, Psalm 46:10, that says, and it's a beautiful prayer, it says, be still and know that I am God. Be still. Trust me. Like, be in this moment. Stop Stop trying to force everything and just know that I am God. Know that I got you, right? Know that it'll work out. And to listen, right? To listen. So for me, life is a beautiful thing. And this is the annoying moment of the week, but I always try to turn it to a positive. I have met disrespectful people this week. I have met ignorant people this week. I have met people that treat me like I'm a little speck that means nothing to them. And back in the past, maybe I would have thought I was a speck for a minute or two, maybe a day, maybe a week. But what I've realized in life is the tiniest people are the ones that try to make people feel tiny because they feel tiny. Because why would anyone want you to feel small if it's not for them to feel bigger than you? And God's beauty and juxtaposition was when someone attempted to try and undercut me, punch me down, and make me feel tiny. Within the same day, something far bigger than that person was like, how can we help you? What do you need? So life is, and I guess I did talk about it in a way, life is about paying attention to the people that God doesn't allow into your life or takes out of your life. There's a reason why they weren't in 10 years ago. And there's a reason why they're not in now. Now, that doesn't mean that people can't grow. But 99.9% of the time, if someone treats you like crap, and then you go back a month later, a year later, 10 years later, they're probably still going to treat you like crap. Because they didn't appreciate you then. Why are they going to appreciate you now? That's why I tell people when you end a relationship, it's over. In a lot of cases. It doesn't mean friendships can't blossom again. It doesn't mean that things can't work out. But there's a reason why it broke the first time. And if that reason isn't addressed and fixed by whoever did it, or if both parties did it, if that's not addressed and fixed, it's going to happen again. It's going to happen again. You know, I have a friend that was in my life, treated me extremely poorly, hurt my soul, left. Now, if they called me today or years later, would I talk with them? I don't know. Because the kindness in me would say, well, I should hear them out. But what they did to me, it's not a grudge. There's a difference between forgiveness and not allowing something back into your life. You can forgive somebody and not let them back in. You know? And I think that we have to learn from those moments. Right? So in this situation, I can forgive him. You know, my friend that I had for many, I could forgive him. But I don't like the person he has become. And I don't like the things he does to me. And I don't like the way he treats me. And the people that really do love me, that really do care about me, they said, why would you even stay friends with someone years ago? Not even when he just did what he did, but when he did that other thing years ago. Why would you be friends with someone who treated you with that level of disrespect? And the reality of it all is, if they called me today, my first question is, you weren't a part of my life for a year. I could have died. I could have won the Nobel Prize. I could have had kids. And at the time that that person walked out of my life, they knew I was going through a really tough time. So they left me in the middle of the storm by myself, and they didn't care to reach out after that. So if you reach out now, I'm not an evil person. I'll be thankful that you reached out and appreciate that. But at the same time, how do you let somebody in that walked out so easily and didn't even care? And I think that's what we have to learn in life, and in this being the annoying moment of the week, is when someone doesn't care, you can't make them care. You can't make somebody love you. You can't make somebody hire you. You can't make somebody live with you. You can't make somebody understand you. And I think in today's society, people have gotten so comfortable saying it's my way or the highway. And maybe it's always been that way, but now it's so much more pronounced because we live in a country that is telling everybody that everything is okay. Everything is okay. And not everything is okay. Teachers are having such a hard time in schools now because kids don't listen. And that's a direct connection to society. Kids don't listen. They're mean. They think they're never wrong. And if they get reprimanded, they know they could just complain. They'll go to the principal, and the principal will tell you that the kid was right for calling you an F and whatever. As you know, I mean, back in the day, and again, the pendulum swings. Back in the day, a teacher could like slap you on the wrist with a ruler. Now, that was wrong. But now you could call a teacher a name, and the teacher could get fired. And that's wrong. So somewhere in the middle lies respect. Don't call the teacher names. Don't hit the kid with a ruler. Let's move on. But if people want to know the demise of society, it starts with a lack of respect for each other, a lack of connection, a lack of empathy, a lack of understanding. Everybody wants to be understood, but how many people in America want to understand? Everybody wants to do what they want to do, but how many people can respect somebody doing something different than what they do? Because I feel like we're living in a society right now where everybody else is wrong but the person that's speaking, right? Like I shouldn't say the person that's speaking. From the way, what I mean is the person that's the person whose viewfinder we're looking out of. Like everybody around you is wrong except for you. And if they agree with you, some people fight with people that agree with them, which is insane. Because it's like everybody wants attention. Everybody wants love. And that's a parental problem. That's a guardian problem. If you don't feel loved, don't look for the government to give you love, because that's a sick place to find it. Don't look for social media to show you love. The entertainment world to show you love. You know, I look at going out in social media or in entertainment or media. I look at that like, if you seek love through that, if you seek love through media, through attention, you're like a product on a shelf in a grocery store. Sometimes people will buy you. Sometimes they won't. Sometimes they need you. Sometimes they don't. So it doesn't mean you're a bad set of eggs. It doesn't mean you're a bad box of pasta. But they might not be making breakfast today, and they might not be making sauce this week. So you sit on the shelf thinking you're not good enough because last week everybody was buying you. All those pasta boxes were coming off the shelf. But now nobody's buying you. So now you're trying to do things bigger. You're trying to change things. You're going out of your mind. So you're trying to go over the top just to get somebody to buy your box of pasta. When in actuality, they just don't want it this week. And that's society right now. And that's not good. That's not good. That we don't think we have value unless somebody tells us we do. And a lack of God, and I believe in God, and I always will. And I know people listen to the show that are all different religions or no religion, and I'm okay with that because I accept you. I accept everybody. The problem is not me. It is with people accepting me. I believe in God. That offends people. People tell me they don't believe in God, and I'm not sitting there yelling at them. I just say, okay, that's your decision to make. I can't force you to believe in God, but you cannot force me to stop. And I think that that's the problem with society, is that I can say to someone, okay, I believe in God, you don't, and I'm okay with that. Where they are not okay with that. And they want to change my mind. And it's like, wait a minute, you want me to accept you for who you are, but you won't accept me for who I am. And one of the biggest annoying moments of the week, any week, is hypocrisy. Don't ask me to do something that you won't do. If you can't accept me for who I am, then don't ask me to accept you for who you are. If you won't show up on a Saturday to help me load my truck, don't expect me to show up on a Saturday to help you load yours. If you asked me to help you move, but when I was moving, you didn't answer any of my phone calls, why do you think I would help you move? You know, that's That's the thing with how I see the world right now, is that so many people want you to call them, want you to give them attention, want you to buy them things, want you to tell them they're great, want you to support them, but where are they when you need the exact same things? And here's the kicker. If you had God in your life, when you don't have people giving you stuff that you think you need, you always have an abundance of it with God. I didn't start my company with other people. I started it with God. I didn't talk to people when I made huge decisions about everything that I did. I talked to God. And whether I talked to people or not when I was making a decision, I always talked to God about that decision. I never talked to people and not God. But I did talk to God, not people. When I pray, it's to God. When I go to sleep at night, I want to wake up. And I do that with God. When I wake up, I thank God. Society is seeking to find meaning. God gave it to you when He made you. You already have meaning. You're already beautiful. Why can't you see that? Because society said. Well, society is created by people. It's flawed. God is not created by people. God created people. And I know that this conversation might make y'all a little triggered, but I would ask you the question, why does me talking about God and God's love for you make you angry, sad, confused? Why? It's like me handing you a flower and you breaking it and saying, don't do nice things for me. And that friend I was talking about, one of the last things he said to me, he said, stop supporting me. You're making me mad because you tell me I'm doing a good job and I'm not doing blank with my life. He said, when you told me that you were supporting me, I was writing an email. Stop supporting me. Stop telling me I'm doing good. I'm not doing anything. I'm nothing. Like he's a nobody. Whatever he said. Stop supporting me because it's annoying me. When a human being tells you that they're mad because you're showing them love and support, that's scary. That's scary. And what he did after showed that he was going down that bad road, and I hope he's not there anymore. I'm not there to hold his hand and take his abuse anymore, but it doesn't mean I don't want the best for him. We can't change people, but we can change our focus. And I tell people that don't want to believe in God, if you've tried everything else, why not? Why not pray? Why not try? Why not believe? See, people will fail you. People won't show up. People will lie. People will cheat. People will steal. People will waste your time. God doesn't do that. You can't compare God to a person like they're going to be the same thing, because it's not. And God is not a fantasy. And God wasn't made up for us to get through tough days. Well, how do you know that, Dan? Because I know. Because I've lived a life where I can't disprove God even if I tried. There are a lot of annoying moments of the week. But why do I smile? Why am I okay? Why, even when it's so hard, do I thank God? Because simply put, I know He's got my back. And I know that He would never hurt me. And I know we have a lot of fun together. And we laugh a lot. So, my annoying moment of the weeks, my annoying moments of this week, yeah, they're there. But you know what? As much as that cord doesn't work, I figured out how to turn my Bluetooth on and listen to the music I wanted to listen to. I've had fantastic conversations with great friends. I've gotten wonderful messages. I signed on for my 3rd year of my exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Lemoyne. I'm unveiling my new Carvel Sunday, inspired by Lemoyne, and it's the first time I've ever had an officially licensed school logo with any promotion that I've done, that you have my company and Lemoyne College together on that board that will be at Carvel DeWitt every day from here on out, starting Wednesday, May 24th at 5 o'clock. I got to be a judge at the end of last week and sit on a stage with people that probably thought I didn't belong there, but I knew that I did. And I had a great time with my team. And I didn't even care who else was on that stage because it doesn't matter. What does they say? God will fix a table for you in front of your enemies. Well, he's done that a lot. So, yes, I've had annoying moments. And yeah, sometimes they're serious and sometimes they're funny. But no matter what, I know who I can talk to about my annoying moment. I know who loves me. I know who's got my back. And you would know that too, if you gave God a chance. What's the alternative? So, we'll take a step aside for a fast break. We'll be back with Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-lib, and Deliver right after this. This has been the Annoying Moment of the Week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Rd in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora here on a Friday, TGIF, and appreciate you being here where sports truly meets that thing called life. It's time for us inside of MonPawsPopcorn.com's What's Poppin' to jump into lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver is what the acronym stands for. Proudly presented by the wonderful people at Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. Today's topic, what inspires you? Think about it. What is that thing that inspires you? Or those things. Could be a bunch of things that inspire you. Greg said, huge congrats, DT, with your ongoing partnership and relationship with Lemoyne. Hard work and dedication certainly pays off in many ways. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that very much so. Year 3, baby. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's beautiful. But God is good. God truly is good. All the time. Well, even when there's... and that's the thing. People say, oh, even when there's tragedy, Dan? Yeah. Yeah, even when there's tragedy, God is good. God gave us free will. And not everybody lives that free will right. Not everybody does good things. And I can't blame God for that. I can't. Now, do I believe God can protect? Yeah. God can love? Yeah. And sometimes you got to go through pain to gain, right? I'm a firm believer that if we didn't go through adversity, we wouldn't grow. You know, if we didn't actually have to go through tough times, we wouldn't know who we are. We wouldn't test the mettle of us. And then what are we? You know what I mean? Because anybody can go through easy times.
We wouldn't test the mettle of us.
Anybody can go through easy times. Easy times are easy. But can you go through trying times? Right? When they talk about divorce is so rampant, why do you think some of those divorces happen? Because people got married thinking this is going to be easy. And then, you know, you have an argument over how to, like, teach your kid, or you have an argument over money, or you have an argument over whatever. And then you're not together. You got to be a team. That's how you win. You win as a team. Let's bring it back to sports. You win as a team. Even in individual sports. Even when tennis is playing singles. You need a bunch of your teammates to play well in their singles for you to win your match. Even in swimming and diving. You can get individual awards, but your team relies on you all to swim well, to dive well. Teamwork makes the dream work. What people say that all the time, right? You got to have a good team. I got a good team. I got a good team. Some of them you see, some of them you don't, but they're here. I got a good group of people that I can trust. And I keep that circle tight because you have to. So what inspires you? Well, I'll tell you what inspires me. Music. Music inspires me every day. Music inspires me. People that are passionate and going after their dreams, they inspire me. People that believe in God and are unafraid to talk about it, they inspire me. Jimmer Sikowski, the owner of Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, he's one of my best friends. He inspires me. I'm going to see him today. So people inspire me. Good people inspire me. A belief in God inspires me. Music inspires me. Chasing my dreams, that inspires me. When I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go do it. Like, people say, where is your drive? Where does your drive come from? It comes from, and this is the thing, when people are offended about me talking about God, God is a part of everything I do. I got asked when I did a show this week with the West Genesee softball team, by the way, congratulations on their victory as they head into the playoffs. And God bless. And much appreciation to all the teams out there, including those Wildcats. I got asked who my role model is. Sophia Van Horn said, who's your biggest role model? I said God. And I felt the room kind of go, yay, but nay. Not nay, but like, I felt this like, uh-oh. He talked about God. And some people in the room were kind of, it's almost like there was a feeling of, discomfort. But it's who I am. And saying we need to stop treating saying God like I'm saying F you. It's not the same thing. It's not even close to the same thing. God is love. F you is not nice. So we have to find what inspires us. And God inspires me. God being good to people that aren't good to him inspires me. Because people say, where does that drive come from? How do you keep going when people told you that you weren't good enough? When people try to discredit you, try to, break up what you were doing, try to get your sponsors to disrespect? What did you do when people came to you? This is the thing that people need to understand. Nobody comes to a castle with pitchforks and torches unless they believe that that person in that castle is powerful. Nobody shows up at your doorstep with pitchforks and torches unless you're doing something. Right? Cat Williams, the comedian, said it. He said, you should be happy that you have haters. Stop being mad at haters. They're just doing their job. They're hating. And he said, and if there's a hater here that doesn't have anybody to hate on, feel free to hate on me. Because nobody comes to a house to take something unless there's something in it that they envy, that they want to take. And that doesn't mean that it's good that somebody's coming to the house to take something. But people seek to take things. What they don't understand is they don't have the creation. Because when someone tries to copy you, imitation is the highest form of flattery. It's also being a jerk. It's also being kind of a blank hole. It is the highest form of flattery, but it is ridiculous. And it is annoying. But what people don't understand is you can come into the house and steal the blueprint to make the car, but you don't have the driver. So you're going to create the car and you're going to pretend like... And this is the funny thing about people that imitate. It's the funny thing about it. Is that I've lived my life in these 37 years, and I've seen people who tried to discredit and get me to quit. And then they and then they tried to copy what I do. And they tried to become me. So they said that I was a nobody. They said that I wasn't real. They said I wasn't a true journalist. They said that I didn't belong. They said that I was doing it wrong. They said that I was a phony and a fake and a sham. But then they tried to be exactly me. So you essentially then you're all those things because that's what you thought I was. And that's the funny thing about imitation is those people will make fun of you and discredit you, and then they try to copy you, but they don't have the driver. You can steal the blueprint, but you don't have the driver. Well, all I need is the car. No, you need the driver. You need the driver. So what inspires me when I'm upset, when I feel like I'm hitting my head against the wall, what inspires? I'm to the point where I love challenge. I love challenge. It's not like I'm looking at God going, oh my God, give me something bad. I'm not saying give me something bad. I like challenges. I love them. You should like challenges. What do you want, sit on the couch all day? Give nothing to society? I'm not saying don't relax, but if you sit on the couch and you don't contribute to society when you can contribute to society, you're not giving anything to the world. And how does that make you feel good inside? That you're just wasting days doing nothing. See, my thing is when it's nice outside and it's hot and I'm like, okay, I got to do my cardio. I'm like, I don't want to sweat. I don't want to go outside and get so hot and overheated and uncomfortable. And then I said to myself, remember COVID when we couldn't go outside? Remember when you said to yourself, I always appreciate going outside? So get your butt outside. Like, you have to check yourself. So what inspires me when I'm challenged? I like the challenge. I respond differently to things now. I had somebody screw me over in business and personally. They had no respect for me, no respect for my business, no respect for my family, no respect for anything that I've done. And I've done a lot for them. And people said, what are you going to do next? I said, gosh, I'm excited. It's excited? Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to find somebody and put them in that place, in that seat that person didn't appreciate. I'm excited to find a good person to sit in that seat. A good person who's going to be a better teammate, because God let me see it now, 3 years in, instead of 14 years in, instead of 20 years in. God let me see over and over and over again, and I didn't want to see it. And after 4 or 5 times of things happening, God says, what are you going to do? And I say back to God, it is up to you to judge that person, because I send them love. And I don't want anything bad to ever happen to them or their family. I pray for them. I hope for them. I want the best for them. I send them love. I hope everything works out. But they're not my person. They're not my people. Because this is how you figure out relationships really quick. Ask yourself, when somebody does something to you and you're hurt by it, ask yourself if you would do it to them. Ask yourself if you would. Because 2 wrongs don't make a right. And you shouldn't want to hurt somebody. But if somebody hurts you, you give them a chance, bless your heart for that. That's a good thing. But after you give them 4 or 5 chances, what do they say? Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 5 times, that's shame on you, over and over and over again. So what inspires me? Challenges inspire me. Knowing that I can make something better inspires me. Because I can complain, but where's it going to get me? I could say, oh man, this person screwed me over, but where's that going to get me? I can say they didn't keep their word, but why focus on that? I focus on the next business partnership. I focus on the next team that I can cover. If you sit here and focus on, well, this team screwed me over, and this coach did this to me, and this person didn't pay their bill, and and I dated this person and this, that. You're focusing on the negative, and it's not going to change. And that's the thing about it. Not only are you focusing on the negative, wasting time, it's not going to change. It's not going to change. It's already happened. It's already in society. It's already there. It already occurred. How successful would a coach be if they focused on all the recruits they didn't get? They wouldn't be able to coach the ones they did get. Those kids wouldn't feel loved. They would feel like they were the second-rate citizens. Oh, I got you on the team because I couldn't get them. If I got them, I wouldn't have you. How would that sound if you said that to your wife? Well, if Sheila back in high school said yes to me to that dance, I would have never married you, Stacy. Well, now, all of a sudden, why does Stacy want to be married to you? She was your second choice. So, what I'm saying to you about inspiration is you should be inspired by good things, and you should be inspired by adversity. You should be inspired by tough times. I've had trauma. I've had death happen in my family. I've had people abuse me. I've had people disrespect me. And that has inspired me to talk about it, to help people through bullying, to help people through domestic violence and domestic abuse, to help people that feel like they can't get out of a situation, to help people lean on God, and to help hopefully bring people to be open to believing in God and talking with God and praying. I've been inspired by the people that have abused me, physically, verbally. They say a man can't get abused, but I don't hit women. I've been hit by one. I've been punched by one, slapped by one. I had one try to strangle me. It was the same person, but I'm saying I've been through that. And it's how do you handle that, Dan? I handle that by saying to myself, never again for me, and to try and help other people to see you can get out. They tell you if you try to get out that, they're going to find you, they're going to hurt you, you can get out. You cannot be afraid of people. We all bleed. You cannot be afraid of people. You cannot be afraid of people. And the bullies, they need something to bully. And I know that. So, easier said than done, right? They say, well, Dan, people were afraid of Hitler. People were afraid of Mussolini. People are afraid of Kim Jong-un. People are afraid of the American government at times, right? Because of all the power that it has. So they say, aren't you afraid of that? You can't be afraid of that. Well, Dan, easier said than done. You weren't a Jewish person in Germany during, Nazism. You're right. I wasn't. But if I was, my fear would have to be replaced by my belief and my love in God, or else I wouldn't have been able to survive. You can't lead with fear. You can't see with fear. Fear blurs your eyes. And I would need to see if I was in Nazi Germany. I would need to see if I was in North Korea. I would need to see if I was fighting on the battlefield with my grandfathers in World War II. If I was on a ship, or I was in the Army, or I was in the Air Force with my great Uncle Pat. I would need to see. So, what inspires me? All the good stuff and all the bad stuff. Because if adversity didn't inspire me, I wouldn't own my own business. I wouldn't be broadcasting. I wouldn't be constantly every day trying to find a better way to reach you and to have good software and have good connections and want the internet to work and do all this stuff. I would not seek every day to be better, and I wouldn't care so much if I wasn't inspired by adversity. I started my business in the middle of adversity. 27 cents in my pocket, $103 in my bank account. I started my company in adversity. Adversity made me a better man. Adversity made me to start doing my cardio. Adversity is where I started to do my cardio and taking care of my body and my mind. Without strife, without adversity, without pain, we can all be inspired by a positive person. We can all be inspired by somebody extending an olive branch, somebody opening a door for us. That is inspiration, and that's beautiful. But the really, 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 really great leaders are inspired by all the bad stuff and all the good stuff. Because if you can make your glass half full, now all of a sudden you become the inspiration instead of looking for it. We'll take a step aside and we'll come back. Top dog of the week, Justin Stern, right after this.
Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Kampground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Kampground and where your dog will be staying, in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Kampground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9Campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9Campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. This is a special message from 317 at Montgomery restaurant owner Joel Carpenter. Open Tuesday through Saturday for your dining pleasure on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York.
We wanted to be a part of the resurgence of Syracuse. We saw a lot of money being put into bringing people back downtown and thought that, we'd like to be a part of that. I love putting together a good dish where people see it first, they fall in love with it, and then it tastes just as good as it looks. We want to provide the best food in Syracuse that we possibly can, and we want you to leave here talking to your family, your friends about what you had to eat first and foremost, but also our service, and to walk out feeling like you're part of our family. I work out in the front of the house a lot, and I love walking to every single table, asking them how everything is, and people looking at me and smiling and saying, this is the most amazing short rib I've ever had. This is the most amazing filet I've ever had. And Donna is great. Sarah's amazing. Thank you for coming over and talking to us. And them just being truly happy for the experience that they've gotten.
317 at Montgomery Restaurant, part of the fabric of downtown Syracuse, located on 317 Montgomery Street in Syracuse, New York. Open Tuesday through Saturday for a unique and memorable dining experience.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. So happy to be here with you every single Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and always appreciate your time here on the broadcast. We have a lot of fun throughout the week. I always bring you some fantastic guests, and I'm honored and privileged to have the guests that I get to have on the show, including this gentleman who's picture-in-picture with me right now, Justin Stern, on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, here to speak on his journey, Cazenovia College, from the inside out and moving forward. So with that being said, this morning we've talked about adversity, strife, tough times, and being inspired by that, finding positive and somehow getting better, getting more energy, and getting more excitement from adversity. So that's how I am. That's what it's about. Justin Stern, picture-in-picture with me, and we're about to bring you into a very positive weekend for you. Justin, how are we doing?
Hey, Dan, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. So, my good sir, I mean, you've had a journey, and I want to start there. This connection that you've had to basketball, when did it start for you? And what can you say about those kind of like first moments of falling in love with hoops and caring about it so much?
Well, even before my memories started, I should say, I still have pictures of me that my parents took of me in diapers, with a basketball and shooting hoops and out in the backyard and things like that. But I would say for me, it really started my love for it when my oldest brother was playing varsity basketball at JD for Bob McKinney. And I got to go to the games when I was little, elementary school, able to go watch my older brothers play and just seeing how much they enjoyed it, being a part of a team, being with other people, their friends, and being pushed to succeed in something that was difficult. And it made me grow in my passion for it and want to follow their footsteps. And it just became something that I loved. And then as I grew, my parents would tell my older brothers, hey, when you go out playing with your friends, playing pickup, you got to bring your little brothers with you. And they hated it. They hated it. So what they would tell me is, all right, you got to make this shot. And this is a story. I don't even remember it happening. It's just my parents telling me the story. And we had a basketball hoop in our driveway, and my brother said, you make this shot, you can come play with us. Okay, well, they went off, and I had to sit there, and I'd practice that shot for hours. You know, it was like apparently it was some ridiculous shot that a little kid can't make. They came back, I'm making shot after shot. Next time they go, I get to go with them. So it was a combination of seeing them do things that they enjoyed, but also wanting to be with my older brothers and wanting to go off and be a part of what they were doing.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, we talk about adversity inspiring you, and that's what I spoke about, you know, all morning on the show here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and you just said exactly that. The adversity of them giving you a shot that they thought was impossible for a little kid to make inspired you to continue to practice it until you made it so that you could go play with them. So it sounds like you've understood the value of adversity a long time ago.
Yeah, you know, you have to have a goal. And wanting to do something without setting a goal is just a dream, right? You gotta have something set that you want to achieve that you can work towards, and as you work towards that, you know, you find adversity along the way and different things to overcome. But that's all part of the journey and growing and getting better.
Yeah, you know, and that's the thing is, like you said, you know, if you have something that you want to do, it's a dream, but you have to have a goal. You have to have a plan that you put in place. So how did you kind of take that dream of wanting to coach and turned it into a reality? How did you create, like, what was kind of the plan and what you put in place as your goal? What were some of those kind of pillars that you said, okay, I have to do this to get to where I am? Because we live in a society in America now where a lot of people sit on a couch and they just wait for the money to come. They wait for the phone call to come for the job. And then they're like, well, why isn't it here? And then they say, well, I don't believe in God because God didn't knock on my door and give me money and a job. You have to build toward what you want. So how did you build toward becoming a coach?
So it started as, you know, my passion through basketball. And I found a mentor and someone who really believed in me and helped me get over my personal issues that I had when I was young, in Bob McKinney and Charlie Falgitano and the JD basketball staff, who are now at Bishop Grimes. And they helped me push me to succeed. And one of those coaches, Steve Gratton, who told me, you know, you should go into teaching.
Yeah.
I said, oh, you know, I can teach and that way I can coach. So I went into teaching thinking this is what I wanted to do. And I went back after I graduated, when I was done playing in college, and I went back and I was coaching every summer, even when I was in high school and college. I'd go back and I'd help coach with them. And when I finished playing, I went back and I was on the staff with them during the season. And we had won 2 straight state championships with them. And it's just opened the door to more opportunities. They helped me grow and grow. And then Joe Smith at Morrisville offered me a position on staff at the college level. And it opened the door for that opportunity. So I went with it. And once again, I was lucky enough to have a successful season there because I was surrounded by really great people. You know, Joe does an unbelievable job, and I was able to find another opportunity at Nazareth College with Kevin Broderick. Once again, I'm putting a successful program with someone like Kevin, and open the door for another opportunity with Jason Leone at Oswego. And then that opened the door after successful seasons with him to Cazenovia. So you don't know what the next step is going to be. You don't know when the next opportunity is going to come. Yeah. You just have to be open to it and grow and learn and surround yourself with the right people. And I was lucky enough to be put in successful programs with successful people that helped me grow and learn how to do things the right way.
And you talk about here with Justin Stern this morning on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. You know, you speak on being lucky, but there's something to be said about people that always appear to be lucky, right? Because you just said it. You said I went to this program, I was lucky. I went to that program, I was lucky. I went to the next program, I was lucky. So when you're lucky consistently, luck comes with the definition of it just kind of happened, right? I just kind of fell upon it. But people that are really lucky are people that are putting the work in and building the relationships, to me. The people that always appear to be getting all the good stuff. So there has to be some credit to you, the relationships that you built and the people that you connected with. Now, I believe in God, and I believe that God crosses paths with people, right? I can't take credit for me bumping into Bob Costas at LaGuardia Airport and us being on the same flight and talking for 20 minutes when there's a million flights in LaGuardia. I can't say that I made that happen. Now, I walked up to him, but I can't say that, I could have been on any other flight at any other time of the day and I would have missed him. So when you talk about being lucky, there's something to be said about your consistent luck coming with your personality and you taking the time to walk up to someone and build that bridge. So what can you say to that effect? That, yes, I understand you saying lucky, but at the same time, these coaches all saw something in you, which is credit to who you are as a person. So I know that you might not be comfortable doing this, but I need you to talk about yourself a little bit and how you go about things, because I don't believe in luck. I believe in targeted luck, I guess I would say.
I think some of it has to do with the people you surround yourself with. If you're smart about things, you consistently put yourself in the right situations, then good things will happen. If I were to follow a different path and I made some bad decisions, things could have turned out differently. But I think every day you wake up with different decisions to make, and you can either sit around and wait for things to happen, or you can go out and make things happen. And I think that I was lucky for that I was put in the situation with supportive parents, with supportive family, with supportive friends, and not everybody has that. But I also took that opportunity and tried to make something out of it with what I was given from the outside. To be successful, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of hard work, and you have to outwork other people. But I know that I was maybe lucky or fortunate to be given opportunities, and it's your job to take the ball and run with it when those opportunities come.
Here with Justin Stern on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora here this morning. And Justin, I have to do this while you're on the air because there's no point in calling you the top dog if you don't get to hear it. So my dog Lily helped me out with this. And so, we're honoring you this week as our top dog. And that top dog honor from Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding happens every single Friday on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora around 10 a.m. Eastern Time. Fantastic place to bring your dog for short and long-term care. Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding of East Syracuse. We're honoring you as the top dog of the week. So I wanted to have you on the show, but not just that, honor you as a top dog. And what I mean by that is you've always been someone that's made time for me, been good for me. And this is how I know someone's special in my life. And you and I, we could talk 4 times in my life. We could talk 40 times or 400 times. I remember where I was when you and I were talking about Cazenovia closing. I remember where I was driving. I remember where I was on the road on 81. And that to me says something about the person that I'm talking to because it's memorable. And it was the person. And when I asked you to come back, and you've come through my mind, over time, over these last few months, of me saying, I remember that. I wonder how he's feeling. I wonder how he's doing. I know we said we're going to get lunch. Those things don't leave. And so honoring you as the top dog of the week is my way of saying that you're in a situation now, as many of us have dealt with, when we have no control over something that happens. We didn't have the choice. It wasn't because you were a bad coach. It wasn't because you didn't recruit. It wasn't because you didn't try. It wasn't because you didn't win games. It was because of something totally out of your control. And people struggle with that. And people have struggled with that forever. What do you say to people as you're going through it about how to handle things that you can't control?
Well, and that's exactly it. It's not something we can control. I told my guys almost every day when something would happen, it's not where we want to be, it's where we are. And we can either make excuses, we can be upset about things, and it's fine to be upset about things, but it can't consume you, and you need to be able to resolve, and you need to be able to move through things. We had a great season this year, and I think the guys need to take as much credit as anybody on the team that when the first article came out, it was before our first game. So guys could have said, I'm saving my year of eligibility and I'm not playing this year.
Yeah.
And they had the meeting themselves. They said, we're here. Let's do something special and go out. Let's close out Cazenovia on a high note. So everybody, the entire team, everyone we recruited stayed. Then the announcement came right before end of the semester that Kaz was closing. So the guys knew that it was going to be over. Like we had an expiration date, and they still put in even more effort for each other to be able to have as good of a season as we did. And we finished with the second most wins in school history. We won 15 games this year. 16 was the all-time record.
Yeah.
And we did a lot of things that haven't been done before. We grew from last year. We put a lot of emphasis in our program on growth and development because we never had with the financial struggles. We didn't have as much to give the students in terms of extra things that other programs can give. And the guys really bought into it as, we're the last dog at the bowl, but we still going to get ours. And last year we were very young. We had 11 freshmen on the team last year, and we went 8-16, but a lot of close games. So we knew with the development of everybody and the growth of everybody, we were going to come out this year a lot better. And it was a big turnaround. And we knew that next year and the year after, we had everybody returning next year. And next year could have been just an unbelievable year, a year in history for Cazenovia, but it was out of our control. So we put everything we could into what we could control this year and make it the best atmosphere, the best chemistry we had, and put everything we had into being the best we could be as a team, as the last team for Cazenovia.
And that's the thing. Like you said, the guys could have folded, right? They could have said, we're not doing anything. They could have said, the school's giving up on us. We're giving up on the school, right?
And not just that, we had guys who had to sacrifice playing. So not only did they know as freshmen and sophomores that, we want to develop them for their future. Well, now there is no future at Cazenovia. So what are they going in every day and working for other than each other? Other than for right now, than to be the best teammates they can be, because they were not going to get an opportunity next year. And it's the guys who are juniors and seniors who are still sacrificing when they know if they don't have the stats and the minutes, other schools aren't going to come looking at them. A lot of freshmen, they can. It's a lot easier for them. And we had a first team all-team player, a second team all-league player. And those guys are going to find homes, but it was other guys who sacrificed knowing this could be my last season and still made the best out of it that really made this team special.
Yeah. To me, hearing that, Justin, that means more than anything to hear that your team cared so much about each other. You're not playing to earn playing time for the next season at Cazenovia. You're playing for right now. You're playing for this moment. And we talk about in life that so many people, and I've struggled this before, and I'm very honest on and off the air, because I feel like if you're not honest, who are you? I haven't always lived in the moment. And I feel like I've paid for that at times. Your team had to live in the moment. They had to, because that's all they had. They had the moment. They had this season. They had 26 games. They had to live in the moment. What does that mean to you to watch them do that? To be such an example, a positive example, not just for Cazenovia, the community, not just for, upstate New York. But for the world, in my opinion, that they were living for the moment, and they were a true example of that. Like, hey, we only have today. We only have this practice. We only have this week. We have a finite season, and this is what we got. They literally lived in the moment, which so many people, me included, have struggled with.
Yeah, and I'm one of those people too. I'm always worrying about the future, preparing for the next day instead of just focusing on today. And it was definitely a trying year for us and for myself. But the reason I got into coaching was because of my love for it and because of the guys that my high school coaches who inspired me. I see the relationships that they have with their former players and the way that they helped me out personally. I just wanted to be that person for one person. Yeah. If I can be that inspiration for one person in their life, that's why I wanted to get into coaching. And I feel like the relationships I made throughout my time at Cazenovia have been unbelievable. They've, not just with the administration and the players, but even with other coaches within the league, people we compete against. There's just a level of respect for them and how they go about their business. And that's why I know a lot of our guys have found places, is because those coaches know how I do things, and they know that the guys who I have in my program are the right guys that can help other programs.
We look at Brian and Alan, Jaden, Nate Klein, as well as Nate Parker, Mackay, Marcus, Devin, Cameron, Cam. I had Cam Jones at West Genesee that won the only state title for boys basketball that West Genesee has ever had. Tyler, Marshall, Kobe, as well as Deshaun, Christian, Matt, Beanie, Owen, John Garcia, Bobby, and Christian Sage. What do you want to say to those guys? I mean, when I look at this roster and I see all these smiling faces and these hungry young kids, what do you want to say to them?
I've said to them a lot of times. They know I love them and I'd do anything for them. And I left my heart in that locker room after our last game. So I don't have to say anything to them now that they haven't heard. But I will say this, is that I talked about being lucky and the opportunities that I was given. There are guys in there that were not given the same upbringing I had. They were not given the same fortunate circumstances that I had growing up. My parents were unbelievable. My brothers, my family, all these things that I took for granted. Some of these guys didn't have growing up, and they still made it. They still persevered. These guys are just some of the toughest people I've ever been around. And I'm so lucky to have them in my life and then competing with me in the locker room. And some of them, when the day came out that they said Kaz is closing, my heart just sank. And I said to them, I will do anything to help you guys find another school. I'll do. And some of these guys put it to the side and said, Coach, we're going to be okay. What about you and your family? And that just, I can't tell you how much it warmed my heart. But at the same time, I didn't want them worrying about me. I had to put on the face and say, this is what we're doing. We're going to be okay. We're going to fight through this, and I'm going to help you find a new spot. But it's still, it's one of the nicest things anybody's ever said to me. We're putting themselves aside, and that's why we wanted those people in our program, and why I'll always be thankful for them. I told them, even though they may not play for me next year, no matter when the time comes, if they need anything in life, they're my guy. I'm going to help them with whatever I can do, just like I've had other people help me.
So I don't know if you could see it, but when you said that, you put tears right in my eyes. And
it did for me. It did for me.
And I can imagine. You talk about going to those guys and you caring, and like you said, you left your heart in that locker room, and to say to them, like, I'll do everything. I'll do anything it takes to make sure that you guys are okay, to make sure you find a team, and that those guys said to you, well, Coach, what about you? Like, that had to be and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but wins, loss, whatever, that had to be, I would imagine, the greatest moment of your career when your players said, Coach, are you going to be okay? Because, wow, you know what I mean? Like, wow, that's a movie to me.
Yeah. I mean, those are the guys I've been so fortunate to have certain guys in my program, and I'm still in contact with all the guys I've had, even going back towards Morrisville when I coached there, JD when I coached there. And, you know, the job as a coach is to always look out for your team and protect them and help them. And the helplessness you have when this announcement comes out, because I recruited every single one of them. I brought them into Cazenovia, and they made a decision to come here when there's no scholarships, right? Division III, no scholarships. They're making the decision that basketball in Cazenovia is the right place for them when they still got to pay to be there. And so they're joining this family, and it's my job to look out for them. And it's a helplessness that I put them in this situation by recruiting them here. And now they're in this horrible situation that's out of our control. And they still take the time out to think about other people in the big picture. And it's credit to their family and their parents and their upbringing, because those are the people that I absolutely love. And I'll do anything for them whenever I can.
You know, and to me, it's a beautiful thing. And it shows that you recruited the right people, right? Because yes, you want to win, but when you bring in, and you said it, when you bring in kids that have morals, values, care for each other, care for you. I mean, you can't make somebody care about you. You can't make your team care about each other. You can teach, you can lead, but you can't make them love. And when you recruit kids that are good basketball players, but that they're better people, that had to make you feel like in all of this storm and all of this craziness, there had to be, I would imagine, a moment for you and your staff to sit there and say, we got the right guys, because they're not good players. They're good basketball players that are good men. They're going to be something else in society beyond basketball. And any coach that I've talked to of any merit has told me repeatedly, yeah, I want to win. Yes, I want my players to be good players. But I want to make sure that they're going to be good husbands, good wives, good brothers, good sisters, good kids, good parents. And it sounds like your team was recruited right, and that you really did find good people.
My first year, and I learned that on the job. Is my first year, I get the job at Cazenovia, and we got only a couple returners. So we got to go out and get numbers. And I was more concerned in my first few years about the on-court stuff. You know, how can you help us win?
Yeah.
And as I got, you know, as I grew with the program and we got better, I learned to decipher, yeah, that guy can help us. Is it worth it? You know, can this person be helped, and can he help us? Because we're not getting the finished product with anybody at 17, 18 years old with who we're recruiting.
Yeah.
If I had my own issues when I was that age. I still got my issues now, but I know that we want to be around the right people every day. You know, I know that we can win with these people. Can we lose with them?
Yeah.
What can we lose and grow? Not that I want to lose.
Yeah.
But every team loses, and how do you learn from it, and how do you grow from it? So being with the right people and who have the right mindset, who want to develop, and we want to help these people grow and develop into those people, like you said, being good husbands, being good brothers, being good fathers, and being a good part of our team. And we really had the best group I've had at Cazenovia this year in terms of chemistry, in terms of family. I'll give a quick story about one of our guys. You know, I could have millions of stories about all of them, but because you're in the West Jenny area, a quick story about a West Jenny guy. His name's Christian Seabrook, who didn't play on his high school team. He didn't play. He was there for the state championship. He didn't play in the state championship team. He got cut. He was about 5'5" and 95 pounds soaking wet. But freshman year with us, he wanted to be a part of the program. I just told him there's no room, but you want to be a part of the program, we can find a spot for you. He was the manager. He's doing everything he can to make the team better, rebounding, out of practice, helping guys, doing whatever. This year, came to me, Coach, what's my role? What do you need?
Yeah.
I said, well, we gave him a jersey this year because he earned it. And I don't want to say I gave it to him. He earned a jersey this year. And our first game, we're playing Binghamton. So Division I versus Division III, we're not supposed to win. Probably down 25 points in the second half. And somebody gets hurt. Somebody got hurt. They're going to the free throw line. We need somebody to go in and shoot free throws. So I went to Christian. I said, Christian, if you want opportunity, you're going to play on ESPN. Your name's going to be up there. Get in there, make a free throw. You get a point. You get your first basket. I'm going to take you right out of the game. Do you want it? Yeah, I want it. Goes in there, makes the free throw. Place goes crazy for him. Sits back down on the bench and just, loved his job, loved his opportunity. And being able to have guys live in those moments are the things that we'll remember the most about this season and this team.
You said something here with Justin Stern on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, honoring Justin and his team as our top dogs of the week. Here, proudly presented by K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding in East Syracuse, filled with fantastic people themselves, which is why we work together. You said, I had to find a team that could win together, but I also had to find a team that could lose together. Go deeper into that, because those statements show me the type of coach you're going to be and that you're always going to be successful without win or loss column. You'll eventually win, and you did win this year, like you said, second most wins in program history. But you said something that I've never heard that way in almost 20 years of broadcasting. I needed to find a team that could lose together. Go a little bit deeper into that.
Well, the saying has always been said, you learn more out of losing than you do winning.
Yeah.
We needed to have guys who could learn, who could grow, who could lose a game and find out why and fix it. So we needed guys who weren't going to be pointing fingers, who weren't going to be going at each other in the locker room after a loss, but finding out collectively, what can we do to fix it? And how do we grow from there? And the teacher background in me has always been about growth over achievement. So how much did we grow from day one to the last game, instead of comparing, okay, we won this many games this year, so it's a successful year. Well, we could have a successful year. Yeah. I didn't think that the year we went 8-16 was not a successful year, because our program grew, our players grew, and we were preparing for the next year. The problem was this year we didn't have a next year. So we had to do our growing inside the season as much as possible and be ready for the end of the season. I think we might have peaked a little early, a couple weeks early. We were playing as good as anybody. The team that ended up winning it was Delhi, and they won the conference. They went to the NCAA tournament, and we lost to them this year 90-93 and 90-95. We were right there with them. So we know we didn't have that much to. We only had to grow a little bit, but not just losing games, but we lost a whole school. We lost our program, and the growth that we had inside of that was very special inside our locker room.
Yeah, and when you discuss that and you say that, like going through that and knowing that, you knew at the beginning of the season that, like we had talked about, that Cazenovia was closing. It's such a unique situation, and you said, my guys had to decide, do they want to play? Do they want to band together? You had to decide it too. So why did you decide to say, hey, I'm going to coach. I'm going to give it all I got. I'm going to lock in. Yeah, I might go home and cry, but I'm going to fight here at practice. I'm going to fight here in the games. You and I spoke when the news came out, and then you had to go coach a season. Why did you do it?
I had opportunities to apply to other schools in my time at Cazenovia. Part of it is I absolutely love the people I work with. I love the situation I had. My athletic director gave me something that not many places could have given me, in the freedom to raise my family and coach the team on my time. So I was staying home. I have twin 4-year-olds right now, and for the last 4 years, I've stayed home during the day to raise them, and being able to go in at night when my wife gets out of work and still live my dream of being a coach. So part of it is I was given an opportunity to do something by him, making me a full-time coach, but on my own time. And I didn't owe anybody anything, but I felt a love for the people that I worked with, that I wanted to fight this to the very end and do everything we could. And part of it is these players still believed in everything we were doing, and they bought into everything. And when they made the decision, we're doing this together, I was on board. I would do anything for these guys. We also had another kid on the team who he was fighting some personal demons and had to take time away. And he, even after the news came out, came up to me and said, I want back on the team. I want to fight this out and finish this thing with the team. So he knew he was using a year of eligibility, but he was only going to play a half a season. And he just wanted to be with the team, with his guys. So I didn't really look past this year. I tried to be as much in this season when I could and just make this the most successful season we could. 15 wins, a lot of teams do that. At Cazenovia, it's not the easiest place to win. We have a lot of limitations. Obviously, we had a lot of financial struggles, and we knew we had something special with the guys we had. So I had been talking about this group since the beginning of last season. Even though we struggled to win games last year, I talked a lot with my family about this group is really special. This is a really special group of guys that I want to be around and I want to fight with.
Yeah, and you said, it doesn't just happen within the last few months that there's this monetary issue at Cazenovia College. How did you navigate as a coach through coaching at a school that overall had issues with money? It's already D3, so there's no full scholarship. How did you become, in your own way, creative with how you sold Cazenovia College and brought people in? Because at the D3 level, you already have to be creative, right? Because you can't give them a full scholarship of money and say, hey, come here, you won't pay for college, it'll be great. So that's already there, plus everything going on with Cazenovia uniquely. So how did you sell Cazenovia in your program amidst the typical D3 conversation, and on top of that, knowing that the school, didn't have, deep pockets, so to speak?
So we did a couple things, and the one thing I always ask that I got from Coach Broderick in Nazareth was he would always bring up, you got to find what's important to them, and it's about fit, right? So I always ask, it's the first thing I ask any recruit, what is important to you? And if they were looking for the things that Cazenovia offered, between being a small school, the location near Syracuse, whether it's far or close to where they're from, and did it financially make sense to them, we wanted to find guys who it fit for. not necessarily who the best players, because yeah, we'd love to have the best players, but that's not how it works out. We want the right fit for Cazenovia.
Yeah.
And then the other thing we do is I tell them, you can have anything you want. You just got to pay for it. If you want something, if you want gear and you want this, I'll get you any amount of gear you want. You just got to pay for it. So every year we'd go, what we do is the guys loved having these new custom jerseys, and you'd order them freshman year and you'd pay for them out of your pocket, but you get to keep everything. You keep them. Yeah. So you design them, you put your name on them, you do all these things, but you got to pay for them. Yeah. So they'd get all these things like that, the gear, but we do some fundraising. We always had our golf outing. We had team camps. We had AAU events. We did a lot of things to try and raise money, but we always told guys that, these things that you're given, they're not what makes the team. Yeah. If you want something, you're going to have to work for it. So as long as you're willing to work for it, you get out what you put in.
How do you say goodbye to Cazenovia? And have you officially kind of had that moment?
Yeah. I said goodbye to the guys. I was at graduation. The place is closing as a school and everything, but we're not saying goodbye to the people. We're not saying goodbye to the memories. They're always going to be a part of us. The people are always going to be in our lives. So as much as it hurts, I'm not focusing on the goodbye. I'm focusing on still trying to help some people find homes, and still just the relationships and everything that I still have that I'm taking away from there.
We look at, in my exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Lemoyne, I get to do a lot with them, and they have decided to partner with Cazenovia College, and they will maintain Cazenovia's student, alumni, and human resource records and dedicate space on their campus to preserve the legacy of Cazenovia College. There's actually going to be they're going to take a piece and kind of, I was talking about, I think with Pete DeLora, the chair of the Board of Trustees, that they're going to have a part of their campus that's going to be kind of a memorial place for Cazenovia College. So those records will be transferred at the end of June over to Lemoyne. What does that mean to you that Lemoyne is going to essentially protect the history of Cazenovia College and then honor Cazenovia on their campus?
Oh, it's a great honor, and it's great to have them preserving what we have, and everybody who's been a part of Cazenovia or had Cazenovia a part of their lives, they'll keep Cazenovia with themselves also in their hearts. So it really was a great place. I'm lucky, Lemoyne was in my hometown, so Lemoyne was always close to me. I went to every camp growing up there, all the way back to when Dave Paulson was there and Steve Evans were the coaching, and I would go to their camps, and being able to be so close to there is I'm very fortunate to have that. So we're lucky and grateful that Lemoyne is doing that for us.
For you, Justin, I mean, I've seen schools, colleges and universities over time where I was a little concerned if something were to close and what that would mean for somebody. Like you said, it doesn't erase history. And thanks to Lemoyne, that history will be preserved. But you can't take away memories and relationships that you build, like you said, with the players. So what would you say to someone who's a graduate of Cazenovia, or who went to Cazenovia, who played at Cazenovia, coached at Cazenovia, taught at Cazenovia, was an administrator there? What would you say to them? Because there is that feeling of, if my school's been erased, has my history been erased? What would you say to those people?
Well, especially the people who went to Cazenovia, their degrees are not meaningless. Their memories are not meaningless. They're going to last forever. It wasn't for nothing. And Obviously it hurts, but we're seeing this more and more throughout our region. Madai just closed the other day, or they announced they're closing as well. Finlandia out west and Midwest. And I would just say that, you hold on to the things that mean the most. You hold on to the memories. Nowhere. I know that the speaker the other day at the graduation said nowhere on your diploma does it say Cazenovia closed, right? It doesn't say that. You are a part of something in history. It doesn't matter if it's here or not. It's still a part of us, and we're lucky to have been there. And even going back to before I was at Cazenovia, I was recruited to Cazenovia. I chose not to go for my own personal reason. Doc Bowser was there forever. He was there for about over a decade maybe, and he left his imprint on there just as much as anybody. And our athletic director, who he was a graduate from Cazenovia, then he coached at Cazenovia, and then he became the athletic director. And those are the guys who really, I think, it's hitting them harder than most. And they have all the emotions to carry around and these memories to carry around with them, and they're not going away. We're fortunate that we have these memories, and we're lucky that Lemoyne is carrying those things as well.
Yeah, and that coming here from Justin Stern. We spoke on your journey. We spoke on Cazenovia. Now it's moving forward. Where do we go from here? You're young. You have been a part of basketball. You played basketball. You've coached. So where's the next step for you? Have you applied? Have you heard? Is it head coach? Are you willing to go to a program, be an assistant? What's the next step for Justin Stern?
Seeing what the next door opens. Like I said before, when I went from JD to Morrisville to Naz to Oswego to Kaz, I got to wait for the next door to open. Things don't necessarily happen on your timeline, and you got to be open to when things happen and what happens. I'm very lucky to be married to a supportive wife who is willing to go along this journey with me. My kids are young enough that we're not, they're in preschool, so we're not pulling them out away from other people. So we're open to a lot of opportunities. We just have to find the right one. I have applied to other places. Now I have to wait until the right opportunity presents itself, and whether it's a head coach, assistant coach, I just want to be a part of a program that I know that I can make an impact on young people's lives.
And Justin, why should they hire you?
Well, I got a lot of experience now. I've been coaching now for my first year in college was 2011. Yeah. I've got a lot of history and know how to recruit and coach the game, and I know it's all about finding the right place. So hopefully I can be in the right position, right spot, at the right time.
Have you found peace in all of this emotion and adversity? Have you found, or are you finding peace in closing this chapter, not ending the relationships, obviously, loving the kids that you have and your coaching staff and people that you bonded with at Cazenovia and the community, that'll never go away, but have you found a place of peace? Because I think that's important before we, I think in society we're so quick to move on to the next project before we heal. Are you healing? Have you healed? Where are you at with all of this?
I think it'll be easier once I do land on my feet with a new job. I think one is probably coming, but I can't talk about it yet. I think it's not going to completely heal for a while, just because, it's only been a week since graduation. Yeah. And when you try and put everything together for the last 7 years of building this program and getting it to the point where I think we were ready to really take off next year. We had everybody coming back. I don't know that I'm going to be completely healed from it. but I do accept what has happened. I accept where we are, and I accept that I have to move forward. I'm not going to sit and wallow for a while. I'm going to move forward and try and put on the best face I can and keep a positive attitude about it.
You know, and to kind of bring it full circle, we talked about adversity becoming inspiration, right? Finding they say in the eye of a storm, it's where it's most calm. That you're seeing all this calamity, all this craziness, chaos around you, yet you can also find peace. You could find quiet. How do you persevere through this? Get determined through this? Like, do you get excited by adversity? Does it push you? Does it, there's people that get thrown into a fire and they say, why am I burning? And then there's people that get thrown into a fire and they look around everybody and they start to smirk and they're like, I know you tried to burn me, but when you threw me in here, I just get bigger like the Hulk. And that's how I am. When people throw me in the fire now, I smirk and I'm like, you don't know what you just did to yourself. But in the past, I was like, I don't want to get burned. So are you becoming the Hulk in the fire? Have you become that? Do you almost find that as hard as this is, you're going to be okay?
Yeah. I mean, I think that in the season, it was easier to, I could always put my focus on something else. Yeah. On the season. Okay, well, I know this is coming to an end, but I can stay focused on the next game. I can stay focused on the preparation and what I can do. It's a little harder now when there's not as much going on. Everyone's gone for the summer, and I'm just putting my time into, my kids, my family, doing what I can to keep myself busy. But there's the fire still burns. I still want a part of it. I still want to compete, and I still want to be a part of it. So whatever comes, I'm ready to go and fight out of it.
Yeah, and I'm excited about this for you, and I'm happy that you've been so candid and so open, and that you agreed to do this, and allowed me the opportunity to honor you as the top dog and your team as well, because it is a tough thing to talk about. But I told you when we were on the phone when that news came out, and I gave you a call, and I was driving south on Interstate 81. I said, I'm always in your corner, and that doesn't change. Wherever Justin Stern ends up, I guess I'm a fan of that team. I guess I need to get a hat and a t-shirt and be ready for it. But, I hope that you know that the people that care about you always care about you, and that doesn't change. You did what you could do in an impossible situation, and the way that your team loves you and the way that you love them back, I think any school would be blessed to have you. I think any institution would be blessed to have you, and I'm excited to see what happens next. And I will keep my word, and you and I will get some lunch, because we should do that. But I want to thank you, Justin, because you and I were strangers a couple of years ago, and you let me in, and you've allowed me to talk with you. You've allowed me to learn about your story. You've been candid with me. You've trusted me on and off the air, and I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your integrity, your honesty, your morality, your values, and the fact that you show up, because that's more than half the battle. So I think a lot of people hopefully today got to know you, but I'm happy that I do know you, and I think our friendship has only just begun. So I do want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for you being the person that you are, and I'm excited for whatever comes next, and whatever, whoever's blessed enough to make the right decision to take you. But it's truly been an honor for me to get to know you, and like I said, I feel like it's at its infancy of that. So I look forward to continuing to do that. But I mean, it's been my absolute pleasure, and I know you're going to land on your feet from this, and I know that good people, that it all comes back around, and I'm looking forward to when it comes back around for you.
Thank you. Like I said, what I said before, you surround yourself with the right people. That's why I always will agree to come back and be a part of this, and I can't wait to meet up for lunch with you.
Yeah, there's some good stuff coming up for Justin Stern and for all these young men that were a part of the program. Justin, as always, thank you. please say hello to those little ones and your wife. And you know what? More than anything else, hug them up and love them up. You know, I get to do what I love and love what I do every day. But anybody that knows me knows that the thing I wanted more than anything in life is to have the right, partner, that woman in my life, and to be able to be a dad. So even in these tough times, the fact that you got kids that'll sit on your lap and watch a TV show with you and a wife that'll support you, I'm telling you right now, that's probably life's greatest blessing in a lot of ways.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, Justin Stern, making that adversity turn into inspiration. Thank you for your positivity today, and congratulations on everything you've done, and I'll talk with you soon.
All right. Thank you.
Take care. That coming here from Justin Stern one more time on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets that thing called life. Cannot thank him enough for being a part of the show. And today's theme has been, taking adversity. We all have something to be proud of, right? I get to do what I love and love what I do, and Justin doing that as well. And an opportunity will come by the grace of God. I pray for that. And, to me, the beauty is, like I said to him, I've always wanted to have a wife and kids, to have not just any wife and kid, but to have a loving, caring family. And the fact that he has that, that's, I would imagine on his toughest days, the fact that his wife can give him a kiss, put her arm around him and say, I got you, babe. And then his kids, good, bad, or indifferent. If daddy has a win or a loss, when he opens that door, if your kids run to the door and yell out like, Daddy, to me, that's amazing. When I come home and my dog wags her tail and licks my face and is so excited to see me and looks me in the eye, and, that to me means the world to me. So when you have that love and you have that support, that's what life is all about. Because jobs will come and go, in business and personal life, people will let you down and people will come through. But the one thing that always stays constant is love. And to me, love comes from God. And when you find that in people, you're finding a blessing that he put out there for you. And, when not just people, but animals. Love comes from good souls and, souls that have been taken care of. And sometimes love can come. And this is the thing too, is, to people to not make excuses. Some of my closest friends have gone through some of the worst trauma, and they're the most loving people. They didn't let their circumstance determine who they are. And Justin won't do that either. I'm excited to see where he ends up next, but more than anything, I'm happy to call him a friend. We'll take a step aside for a fast break on Wake Up Call. We'll wrap up today's show and the week right after this.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the Whole Frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond. You can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you? This is a special message from Merritt Brady, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Watertown on 1290 Arsenal Street in Watertown, New York.
Chick-fil-A for me has always been about the people. I think it starts with the strength and leadership of the Cathy family. It's just amazing to see a family-run business reach the altitude that they have. Second mile service is something that we embodied at my previous business, and the ability to make people feel like they're the only person at your establishment, that you are there to serve them that day and looking for those extra ways to make them happy, to anticipate what they need next is what makes me tick. And I'm going to have so many opportunities at Chick-fil-A to do that. It's one of my favorite things to eat in the world. My favorite application question or interview question when I'm interviewing is when I get to, have you ever eaten at Chick-fil-A? And a smile hits both their ears. You know, they can't even answer the question for a second. And when I see that, it's like, man, that's going to be a great hire. They already get it. They already feel it. They already know that we're different. The Chick-fil-A experience, it's a real thing. And then, of course, just our generosity and community involvement and making a positive impact in the lives of our team members, our guests, and the community in general, I think is really the secret sauce.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York. Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Happy to be here with you every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We appreciate you, as always, inside of MonPawsPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', bringing you the annoying moment of the week every Friday, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt. Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver, proudly presented by the fantastic people at Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay. And, of course, the top dog of the week, who we honored, Justin Stern and his team, as well as just honoring all of those wonderful people, current students, student-athletes, former students and student-athletes, alumni of Cazenovia College, and spreading a positive message through adversity. So a big shout-out to Justin Stern, as well as his team, and all of those that we remember and will continue to hold close in our hearts for Cazenovia. Top Dogs of the Week, proudly presented by Canine Camp Dog Daycare and Canine Kampground Dog Boarding, a big-time honor
for Justin Stern that we appreciate so very much. We thank you for tuning in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time on YouTube.com, Facebook.com, and MixLR.com, all / Wake Up Call DT, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. Once the shows go live, you can jump into the archives. We've already added shows there. We will be adding more this week to Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, MixLR, Player FM, Podbean, Podvine, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, and YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora on any one of these platforms, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Big thanks to our incredible partners, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, PB&J's Lunchbox, K9 Camp Dog Daycare, Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, K9 Kampground Dog Boarding, Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, Avicoli's, Great Lakes Honda City, Pizza Man, 317 at Montgomery Street, Chick-fil-A Watertown, and Mother's Cupboard, the home of my official sandwich, the Cuse McMother, exclusively on 3709 James Street in Syracuse, New York, 7 days a week at Mother's Cupboard. Bacon, egg, and cheese inside of 2 pieces of French toast. Pick it up and eat it like a sandwich. Cut it up and get some syrup on it. The Cuse McMother, your new favorite sandwich, available only at Mother's Cupboard. So go out there and get it. Of course, we're proud to be the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your. Lemoyne College Dolphins. It's Fins Up every single month on Wake Up Call. Every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, we have Dolphin Time. And inside of Dolphin Time, the first and third Wednesday of each month, AD and DT with Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora. Second and fourth Wednesday, the Dolphin Dive, diving into the stories of student athletes, coaches, administration, future Dolphins, and alumni. You can find all of our content constantly growing on the Lemoyne page on wakeupcalldt.com and by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt and clicking subscribe. For more information on your Dolphins, go to LeMoyneDolphins.com, and as always, Fins Up. The Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. For unprecedented coverage with the Bobcats, you can go to the BSC Syracuse tab on wakeupcalldt.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Every single month, the Bobcats join us for specials you don't want to miss. You can find out when they're coming by going to Facebook at wakeupcalldt, Twitter at CallDT, and Instagram at wakeupcall_DT. The Bobcat Buzz comes to you every month with student athletes, coaches, and administration talking about what makes Bryan and Stratton College of Syracuse special, unique, and tell their fantastic stories. Don't miss a moment with the Bobcats, and for more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. Go Bobcats. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, once again, Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, Twitter at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call_DT. Big thanks to Carvel DeWitt for the annoying moment of the week. And this Wednesday, May 24th, 5 p.m., we unveil our DT Dolphin Sunday. Come out and try it the moment that it goes on sale and goes on the menu exclusively at Carvel DeWitt. Lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver. Great thanks to Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay, and many thanks to my beautiful and wonderful friend, Jim Sikowski, and his family, and his extended family. I love you, brother. Top dog of the week, thanks to K9 Camp Dog Daycare and K9 Kampground Dog Boarding, and much love to Justin Stern, our top dog of the week with his team. God bless, no stress, do your best, and we'll